Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something we all deal with, but nobody really talks about honestly. We're stripping away the naive illusions of corporate life and looking at the actual, unwritten rules of the office. You know, those core career survival principles that literally no one formally teaches you in school. If you've ever felt like you're playing a high-stakes game where somebody conveniently hid the rulebook, well, you're exactly in the right place. So let's just jump right in. So here's a fun question to start us off. Will your hard work just magically get noticed? We all love the myth of the meritocracy, right? We're taught from day one to put our heads down, do good work, and quietly wait for the world to use its magical telepathic powers to notice our brilliance. But let's apply a little dry reality here. Yes, your work speaks, but rarely loudly enough on its own. The truth is, if you just sit there and refuse to tell your own story, someone else will happily write it for you. And guess what? They're probably going to make themselves the main character. Think about it like this. People absolutely do not remember every single little task you complete or how beautifully you formatted that one quarterly spreadsheet. What they do remember is how you made them feel. It really is that simple. Your technical skills and your fancy resume, okay, those get you into the room. But your relationships, the actual trust and respect you build with human beings, those are what decide if anyone actually saves you a seat at the table. Now here's a bit of reverse psychology for you. Never, ever try to be the smartest person in the room. Why? Because the person aggressively trying to prove their intelligence usually spends so much time proving they're right, they end up alienating literally everyone around them. Sometimes silence wins arguments that intelligence just cannot. You can technically win every single debate you get into, but if you lose everyone's trust in the process, well, congratulations, you are officially the correct person that nobody actually wants to work with. So how do we handle conflict when it inevitably pops up? Well, here is a fantastic recipe for disaster. Step 1, completely destroy someone's confidence in a public meeting. Step 2, sit back and genuinely wonder why they never ever support your projects again. The absolute golden rule of office survival is protecting people's egos. If you have constructive feedback, give it privately, always. Because human beings will forgive a mistake infinitely faster than they will forgive public embarrassment. And this naturally leads us to the concept of the invisible org chart. Sure, formal titles look super impressive on an email signature, we all know that, but they don't always dictate who holds the real power. True influence in an office is almost entirely invisible. More often than not, the person who speaks the absolute least during a chaotic, noisy meeting is the exact same person everyone quietly turns to and listens to afterward. You've got to learn to spot where that real influence lives. Okay, we have to talk about office gossip. Look, gossiping feels incredibly sweet in the moment. It is the corporate equivalent of eating junk food every single day. You get a little rush, it feels like bonding, it's fun for a few minutes. But here's the deadpan truth. Spreading rumors will violently turn around and destroy your own reputation. Eventually, everyone wakes up and realizes a very simple fact. If they gossip with me, they'll gossip about me. Listening is sometimes unavoidable, but participating, that's a trap. Now think about how people handle crises. Literally anyone in your company can point at a problem and yell, "Hey, the ship is sinking." That takes absolutely zero talent. Managers don't appreciate the person who just amplifies panic. True value, that comes from being the person who skips the yelling and quietly brings a bucket. Be a problem solver. If you bring solutions alongside the problems, your stock in the company will instantly rise. And speaking of managers, here is a genuinely shocking truth for some of us. Is your boss human too? Yes. Dry sarcasm aside, they really are. Your manager has their own anxieties, their own targets, and their own bosses breathing down their neck. If you spend your entire career fighting every small battle just to prove a point, you're going to be exhausted. But if you pivot, if you figure out how to genuinely help your boss succeed and hit their goals, suddenly your own life gets drastically easier. The friction just disappears. You also have to think long-term. Because one day, life will quietly ask you a very important question. Who knows you? This is exactly why you have to build a network across different departments. And you don't do this because you're scheming and need a favor today. You do it because building good, genuine relationships across the whole business opens up these invisible doors for tomorrow. When a big project or promotion pops up, you want people in totally different teams nodding and saying, "Oh yeah, them, they're great." It's funny, the office absolutely loves to reward drama and noise with immediate attention. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? But emotional composure is the fastest, most reliable way to earn actual trust. People naturally trust colleagues who remain professional and calm when the pressure is on. So remember this, noise gets noticed, sure, and it gets rewarded with more drama. But peace gets promoted, and it gets rewarded with real responsibility. And while you're climbing that ladder, stay humble. Because the exact moment you rest on your laurels and think, you know what, I know enough, life is going to smile and introduce you to a 23-year-old who just learned your entire skill set yesterday on some shiny new software stack. Skills matter, absolutely, but continuous learning and adaptability, that is what makes you permanently valuable, no matter how the company culture evolves. Let's talk about what happens when you actually achieve that success. How do you handle it? Well, the insecure person rushes to the front and says, I did everything. But the wise person, they step back and say, we did it. There's this beautiful irony in giving credit generously. When you acknowledge others, you build immense goodwill. And ironically, by sharing the spotlight, everyone actually remembers you more favorably as the true leader of the initiative. Now, while we're building all this trust, let's not be naive. Trust is beautiful, yes, but documentation is even more beautiful. Always keep a paper trail. Save the emails, save the messages, save the tangible proof of your major achievements and decisions. Because months down the line, when questions inevitably arise or memories mysteriously fade, and they will, having the receipts isn't just about being organized, it's literal corporate survival.
Section 15, the unspoken philosophy, controlling yourself, not the office. Let's keep moving.
You see, people will spend years, decades even, trying to control the office. But you cannot stop jealousy. You can't stop favoritism, and you definitely can't stop oversized egos. What you can do is entirely stop giving them free rent in your mind. Focus on actually becoming valuable, instead of just looking valuable. The strange truth of the workplace is that the harder you desperately chase recognition, the faster it runs away from you. But the moment you quietly focus on excellent work, people organically begin to notice. There's a great little quote for this. The flower never advertises its fragrance, yet everyone turns toward it. Be like the flower. Maintain your character and keep your peace of mind. And you don't do this because a chaotic corporate world deserves your grace. No, you do it because your own internal peace is worth infinitely more than fleeting corporate applause. Because here is the sobering, deeply grounding reality we all eventually have to accept. One day, your emails will be archived, your desk will get a brand new nameplate, eventually, everyone in the office will be replaced. Office politics are entirely temporary. The only permanent thing you truly get to keep at the end of it all, the whole shebang, is the person you became while you were busy chasing success. So what does this all mean for you tomorrow morning? It means you should navigate your career with real emotional intelligence. Observe the norms, build those quiet relationships, document your wins, and understand where the real influence lives. Absolutely, play the game, just don't let the game play you.